Hi there. This is Dr. John Whitcomb coming to you with the topic of statins add 5 days to your life. 5 days? Where does this come from? Well, the statin empires are beginning to crumble just a little bit. About a decade back, the Norwegians added an interesting study called the Hunt study. You can Google Hunt study, Norway, cholesterol, and find it. And they very politely followed 50,000 people for 10 years, so they had 500,000 years of observation. And they found that people whose cholesterol was above 200 lived longer. And they very gently suggested that perhaps we should reconsider those guidelines. Okay. Along comes another study, published in the British journal BMJ Open, that looks at 6 to 8 studies with all the cholesterol guidelines properly done in randomized placebo-controlled trials. And they have some discomforting news. That is, statins, after all's well and done, how long do you live longer? And you live an extra 5 days. Not very impressive. For all their side effects and cost, this is maybe a problem. Then comes another study, published in Stat News just last year, under Scientific Report. 16 million Koreans, because they now have a wonderful database in Korea that follows everybody's longevity. What's the best cholesterol to have to live the longest? Turns out the best cholesterol is between 210 and 240, not under 200, like they say in American cardiology. You want a cholesterol of 225. Now, what you want is much more nuanced than just the total number. The total number is almost meaningless. Do you have small, dense, oxidized LDLs? Those are the ones you get in trouble. Do you have endothelial dysfunction because your plasmalogen levels are low? But over the last couple of years, there have been increasing numbers of papers calling for a reevaluation of how do we predict who's going to get in trouble from angina and coronary artery disease. It turns out it's not cholesterol. It is your plasmalogen level that's the better predictor. Okay. So maybe cholesterol is time to put on the ash heap of history and say, we need to get post-cholesterol and start fighting about it. But we do need to look at coronary disease. That's deadly important. Half of us die from it. And cholesterol provides us a few tangential insights. But what we really want to look at is, how are we handling our cholesterol? Are we making small, dense LDLs, or are we making large, fluffy, harmless ones? Are you in an oxidizing state? Do you have sufficient plasmalogens? Do you have calcium accumulating in your coronary arteries? Those are all separate issues. What will work for me? Well, I'm doing my best to stay away from sugar. That's one quick way to get away from oxidizing stuff. And sugar instantly makes your LDL smaller and denser. And I'm really cutting down on white flour just because that's too easily diagnosed and too easily digested and processed. You could do those steps too. But if you want to turn on your plasmalogens, you should probably think about resistance exercise and probably think about intermittent fasting of some kind. 1 5-day session once a month doesn't hurt. I do that every month. 5 days, 800 calories. Join me. I do it the last week of the month. This is Dr. John Whitcomb talking about news and nutrition, saying statins add 5 days to your life. My conclusion, they aren't for me. Probably shouldn't be for most of you.